Boris Johnson's future as UK Prime Minister is hanging by a thread this evening after a wave of more resignations today, following the departure of two key cabinet ministers last night. The Tory party leader faced fierce criticism and calls to resign during today's Prime Minister's questions. But Johnson is adamant that he will not step down. The next few hours could be crucial as the Conservative Party 1922 committee meet to decide whether to continue to back him. Well, straight over to London then, when we can cross over to Vinnie McAviney, who is covering this for us tonight. Vinnie, Boris Johnson has insisted that he will not be going anywhere, that he won't step down, despite a growing revolt against his leadership. Can he hold on much longer?
Well, Boris Johnson has just done a gruelling few hours before a parliamentary committee with all the heads of the committees, in which it was put to him he might not be Prime Minister for much longer. And he said he well and truly intends to stay as Prime Minister. But as he was doing that, being picked apart on his policies and his judgment over the Chris Pincher affair, 33 government ministers, that was where the tally got to in the number of ministers, PPSs, secretaries of state, members of government having left, saying that they did not have confidence in him anymore. And as we speak, as we understand it, Nadeem Zahawi, the man who yesterday he appointed up to the position of Chancellor, is leading a delegation of other secretaries of state, other senior members of the party to the Prime Minister to tell him that enough is enough. He cannot govern anymore and that he needs to go. The Prime Minister, though, adamant still that because of that mandate that he got at the 2019 general election, winning that 80-seat majority, he still is the person to stick around. But for now, he really is hanging by a thread.
Well, MPs will feel that times have changed since then, at least those voicing their opposition to him. And we've got the 1922 committee meeting this evening. Talk us through their options here if they want to get rid, essentially, of the Prime Minister. How could that play out?
Well, it's only 30 days since the 1922 committee organised that last vote of no confidence. Boris Johnson won by a margin thinner than that of Theresa May back in her day. And she had to go and resigned within 6 months of that. The Prime Minister, though, is given generally a year of time frame where they cannot then have another vote of confidence. So as the rules stand at the moment, whilst many people want another one, they have to wait a year. But some of those most adamant that Boris Johnson has to go are trying to get onto the committee in order to change those rules, bring it down to some 6 months, or have some kind of special vote this evening. But the Prime Minister very much keen to fight tooth and nail to stop that. One thing that's really interesting today, in the committee, he was challenged by a senior MP, Will Wragg, over what is known as the Lascelles principles. If anyone's watched The Crown, you might remember the moustached advisor to the Queen in the first few series, Tommy Lascelles. He was a real person, and he came up with these principles so that a rogue Prime Minister couldn't simply call a general election to get themselves out of any real trouble whenever they wanted. Yes, the British Prime Minister can call a general election whenever, but if the Prime Minister was to say, OK, well, fine, I'll call a general election, try to get a new mandate, force my party to stick with me, he conceded, the Prime Minister today, that those principles stand. So the Prime Minister, it's thought, might try to ride out until, if the rules aren't changed, that next vote of confidence in June 2023, and then immediately after that, call a general election.